Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to February. I did not mean to take this long. I'm so sorry, but thank you for your patience. I really appreciate it. Let's see what the cards have to say. Okay, this one flipped out. So 7 of Cups. What are you confused about? What choices are in front of you that you're just really not sure what to do about them? How to handle them, how to handle that person, how to feel about something, where to dedicate your time and your money, Seven of Cups is kind of a not so, I think like a Pisces can handle this energy well, but Capricorn doesn't like this energy. It doesn't like to be like all over the place. It doesn't like to be kind of disoriented. It doesn't like to be confused about stuff. It likes to know. It likes to be sure, Sometimes life throws you a period of time that's like this, and you just got to kind of figure it out. There's kind of this element of waiting for the dust to settle. I have a feeling January was pretty epic for a lot of you, and officially this Saturn-Pluto conjunction is happening, right? Officially it is happening, and over the course of the next year, things will continue to unfold, and it's going to be like little mini fires that you're going to have to keep putting out. And within yourself, it's change and evolve in like really small and very calculated ways, calculated by the life force or by the universe, right? You're absolutely being guided right now. I know Capricorn really likes to have control of stuff. Now is not really a good time to try to take control, because you'll just get reminded of how little control you actually have, right? Try not to control other people. Try not to control other people's expectations, Just manage yourself. All energy dedicated toward the self. I think being a little bit selfish at this particular point in time is actually a good thing, How does everything reflect back on me? What is everything trying to, how is it going to help me grow? That kind of thing, and not really worry about anybody else. Everyone else is we're just all on our own journey, right? We're all just our own spirits, and we all have our own backstory. There's nothing you can do about that. Beautiful. I don't know why, I'm looking at the stars and there's really nothing to support this really. But I felt a very family vibe for Capricorn. Maybe that's Mars in the, finishing out in the 4th house. I'm not sure, but very family oriented this month. Really connecting with the people that you love. Maybe it's because you're like, man, I really just don't have control of this, so I'm just going to do the things that really make me happy. Be with your friends, be with the things and do the things that you'll succeed at. If you're creative in any way, shape, or form, it's you doing the creative things like dancing, singing, playing music, writing, sculpting, whatever. And finding a lot of pleasure in that. Because it's like there's just it's Capricorn, right? The wise soul of the zodiac. The one that says, I know this is going to iron itself out. I don't need to choose right now, because I know that the answer or the right path will be revealed to me, and I don't really have to work at this. This 7 of Cups, you don't have to work at this. Any effort that's being expended is a waste. Because eventually you're going to see and you're going to know. And you're going to say, 10 of Cups is that way. I'm going to go that way. It's kind of you. You're kind of the ones that know that that's the way it works. Sorry, I just happened to see the bottom of the deck. You guys know I don't normally do the bottom. But if I'm waving it around and I happen to see it very clearly, then yeah, I'll do it. And then we get the Capricorn card. And okay. Pluto conjunct Saturn is all about breaking down of structures, right? And Capricorn, you are the most structured of all the zodiac signs, simply because you're the Saturn rulership, and you're Earth sign. And you are practical and logical, and you're realistic about things, right? That's why we can always count on you to be honest. That's one of the things we love about you. It's a love-hate thing with that, but we love that you can be honest with us. But sometimes it is the structures that really bind you too. Your sense of obligation, your sense of duty, even, dare I say it, your goals and achievements. that you become a slave to the things that you feel like you have to accomplish and the things you have to do, especially if you're a younger Capricorn, like in your early 20s. Like, oh my God, the young Capricorns in their early 20s, they are so driven and so ambitious, and it's great. But, you know, you don't want to be, you know, like, life is wild. Love is wild. And when you cling to something and you attach yourself, you very easily become toxic. This is a more free-flowing energy. It demands free flow. And Capricorn, I think that the time has come this year for you to really practice that. And I know you know how to do it. Some of the most chill people in my life are Capricorns to an extent. And this is going to be like a moment-to-moment deal this year. Moment to moment, living spontaneously, throwing caution to the wind, all those beautiful things. Here's the wisdom of Capricorn. I feel like this card doesn't come out that often for Capricorn. Of course, you're fully, as an earth sign, you know, a feminine energy. You're fully, you know, can be in here and do your whole hermit mode thing. But many times, Capricorn, when they need to do the hermit mode thing, they kind of do so in the world. They can be at home and they can do that, but there's always still this essence of being a part of everything. And the hermit is solitude. And I think that is what the tarot is asking of you here, to be in solitude. As one of the most wise, you will gain a lot from solitude. If you've been in solitude for a long time now, if you're one of those people that have like really taken the time to, you know, think about life, I think there's something else coming online for you. And I think some of you are really being asked to really analyze what makes you really happy. Because up to this point in your life, have the things that you have worked so hard for actually made you feel a 10 of Cups in your heart? Have the things of the world that you have worked so hard for actually made you feel like you're at a 10 of Cups? Now, some of you, the answer is yes in certain things, but for others of you, the answer is no. So it doesn't matter which way you're leaning. It just is, look at it. Look at the happiness of the 10 of Cups and really, what are you really expecting? There's a message of expectations coming out here. I'm not quite sure why. Intuitively, I'm just feeling it. And the Hermit being a card of Virgo, being one of the most hard on themselves, right? Because their archetype is all about perfection. And you also being very hard on yourself too. It's not a time to be hard on yourself. And as I say that, we get the Temperance card. It's not a time for any kind of judgment toward yourself, toward anybody else. This is a time only for acceptance. Temperance is such a beautiful energy. It is so incredibly open-minded. It is so incredibly angelic. There really is no judgment. If you are one that becomes a workaholic when you're going through something and you delve into some kind of work or whatever, or you begin, some kind of a new journey and you give all your time and attention, do it in moderation. You can do what you want, but just do it in moderation. Don't let something else become an obsession, right? Don't let an ambition or a goal become an obsession. That's so completely against all business advice, right? All the business people are like, do it. If you don't feel like doing it, don't, do it anyway. I'm like, oh my God, if you guys listen to my podcast, I talked about that, where it's like, oh my God, that's the worst advice we could be giving to people, because that's like what's making us sick. That's what's making us so stressed. That's what's making us all so unhappy. like, we all just need to chill out a little bit. Just chill out and find the things in life that are really worthwhile. Let's see what else. I'm not getting the energy of like another person, unless you're dealing with a Virgo or a Sagittarius, as we get with the Hermit and the Temperance card. I think those are more energies for you, though. Oh, and then we get the Devil again. You in the very center of the reading. And when I put the camera down, you'll see. Again, the structure. What are you married to? Right? Not actually married, but like, what are you married to? What is it that's really keeping you? Some of you have really deep emotional attachments to stuff. Maybe you have an emotional attachment to a goal. Maybe you have an attachment to a home or a location. And there's this part of you that I feel is screaming for freedom. But you have to truly define what that freedom really means. Freedom is something you can have right now, in a moment, in an instant. It's just a matter of understanding how the mind plays into that. And whoever is involved in your life, your romantic partnerships, your colleagues, your whole, like whatever you got going on, your health situation, none of that really belongs to you. There's you, the true essence of you, your soul. And then there's, all the things that your soul is experiencing. So it's kind of like stepping out of that, like sinking your awareness into the experience, sinking it into the romance, sinking it into the health issues, sinking it into the career, and getting it back up in its kind of royal throne where it belongs. And that is how you achieve liberation. It takes practice. It takes time. I'm talking about all like these very Zen Buddhist things, but this is really tough. This is when we let the weight of the world dictate our behavior. This is when we allow the narrative of the world to dictate our choices. Clearly, you don't know what to choose, because I bet there's a whole mess of reasons why each single one of these things makes sense for you. But your intuition, your heart, your soul is like, don't do it. Like, don't do it. Don't pull the trigger. Like, you're being held back. You're being held back. And there's this like, I don't know why, like I'm being held back and I don't know why. Because I think there's something for you need to understand. There's something beautiful about this. The illumination of the lantern that the hermit holds. He's very, he's very willing to accept the idea that understanding comes upon him. And the harder and harder he pushes for understanding, the further and further understanding gets. Understanding happens with a quiet mind, which is why temperance is making an appearance. Understanding happens when you stop seeking and when you stop trying so hard. Sorry, I just whistled a little bit. I don't know why. Okay. Let's see, what else for Capricorn? Moving on. Here's movement. Here is movement. Whatever happened is in the past. Whatever is going to happen is in the future. Both are irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the here and now. This is very much about being present. Knowing wherever it is you're going, which is not really for you to decide. Wherever it is you're going is peaceful, but only if you're at peace. There is, maybe that's a part of what this is too, an acceptance of your own responsibility, right? The acceptance of the fact that you're responsible for everything in your life. You're responsible for the learning. You're responsible for the self-control. and you're responsible for feeling. Does that make sense? Like you're responsible for that stuff. Let's see what else. I've been talking a lot. This is a big reading. A lot of big readings this month. I actually can't wait for the sun to get out of Aquarius. I'm like, this Aquarius energy kicked my ass. And I usually like Aquarius season a lot. Another major arcana, High Priestess. Something is bubbling up for you. I have a feeling that March is going to prove very, very interesting for you because it's your third house. So Pisces in the third house, you have that, easy to connect to the other world. Third house being about communication, Mercury ruled. We're going to be having a Mercury retrograde in there. I think you're feeling the pre-effects of certain things that are about to happen. You're getting some foreshadowing. And as things surface, if you try to push them down, you're just kind of hurting yourself. Now is not a time to push things down. Do I have reversals in here? Yeah, I definitely have reversals in here, just none came out so far. So the energy is it's just doing its thing. There's no pushback at all. The veil between your subconscious and your conscious is very, very thin. The gatekeeper of that veil is right there. She's here. So she's trying to talk to you. She's trying to speak to you. She's trying to get you to see. Another major arcana, Magician. Boom. Look, we can sit here and talk about the things you want all day long. But one of the reasons why I think you're having a hard time manifesting, you can still be manifesting, we're always manifesting all the time. But one of the reasons why you're having a hard time getting yourself to this 10 of Cups, and it's not even getting here, because I think a lot of you have family, and I think a lot of you have really good things that you do in your life that you truly enjoy. But there may be this feeling of oh man, there's supposed to be more. There's this feeling of, shouldn't there be more? And the Magician comes to play and he's like, okay, which one do you want? Which of the 7 of Cups do you want? And you're like, I don't really want any of them. I want this. And then the Magician, I think in some way, instead of doing something, actually does nothing. He actually does nothing. Because he knows that what it is you're really wanting that's going to give you that feeling of satisfaction is not out there. It's not out there. And maybe that's one of the hardest parts. For all earth signs, the feeling and the knowing that what they want is not out there is tough. Earth signs specifically because they're earth. And it is out there. It is the only sign that really represents the physical world. Right? Air represents the thoughts, water represents the emotions, fire represents the will or the spirit. Earth is the external world. So it's hard. That's a tough one to really break. I think a lot of you are going to be scaling back. Scaling back your responsibilities, scaling back all these goals and these ambitions, and scaling back on even your manifestation efforts because you're like, damn, okay, well, I know I can do it because I have a feeling a lot of you manifested a lot of stuff this month. So you're like, okay, well, I know that power is there, but I just want to make sure that I'm using it the right way now. When I first started learning about alchemy and all that stuff, there was always that question of why aren't these people using this alchemical power to manifest millions of dollars? Well, then there's the people that are, right? The Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Hollywood people, musicians, all those people, they are. Mark Cuban, all that. That is what they're doing. They just don't talk about it in those terms. But then you have these spiritualized people who are yeah, but to manifest money is kind of a waste. To manifest your career ambitions, it's kind of a waste because they've connected with the idea that life is transient. You come in with nothing and you leave with nothing. And life is wild. And it should be lived more spontaneously. and that the joy is found in the moment. Well, how can you live in the moment if you're so focused on where you're going? Right? Here's Capricorn. Small, little things. Scaling it back. Little things. Little goals. Again, terrible business advice. I'm not a business coach. I'm not trying to get you rich, guys, right? I'm just trying to get you to a place of like really understanding what it is we're doing here. And I think we place so much meaning on things that we don't really connect with like the meaninglessness of a lot of stuff. I know so many people are going to misinterpret this and say like, oh my God, she's being such a Debbie Downer. She's being so negative. And those people can leave, they can do their thing. But I think for those of you who are like with me, like you guys know what I'm talking about. Not everything has to be so complicated. And that's why I think you're in this stagnation, because you're like, I don't want more complications. I just want happiness. I just want joy and peace. There's a lot of analysis going on around what this is and what this means and what this really entails. Small bites this month. There will be months where I'll tell you, go for it. But small bites this month. Okay, I'm going to pull 3 more cards, but let me put the camera down so you can kind of see what came out here. Okay, and then we'll pull the clarifiers that you'll see in the comprehensives. So let me turn the camera around too so you can see. Okay, so 3 more for Capricorn. Oh, or 5 more maybe. See, it's not about action. It's about understanding. That's where we're at, guys. Look how high level she is, right? She's so incredibly high up there. And I'm going to read this kind of like in its own little story, right? Here she is really deliberating, really, really thinking about stuff, really in the power of her mind, which is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful gift, but please do not overuse it. Now, it's okay to be humbled. It's okay to create a space where truth can come so that you can make proper decisions. But right now, the best decision to make is really no action. Just go with the flow. Like if in the moment something feels right, just go for it, right? Initial instinct. Have you guys read that book, Blink? It talks about like the first 2 seconds of something. And in those first few seconds of meeting someone or hearing something, or like, the truth. Like you just know. And I think that that's kind of where this Ace of Wands, like maybe don't make plans, just allow this to really come and see what transpires over the course of the next few weeks. Again, it's a short-term reading, guys. So when you have the Chariot come out, again, another major arcana, it indicates the presence of the higher self. Clearly, there's a high-level spiritual message here for you. And right now, no matter how split you are, clearly, you're not even just split into 2 directions. It's like 7 directions here. Clearly, things need to be reined in. That's why the Hermit is so great, because it pulls everything back in, allows you to get your bearings, get your feet planted firmly on the ground, and to not make decisions based on your ego, to not make decisions based on, predetermined programming and all of that. True freedom, and I'll probably be talking about this in my podcast too, like the predetermination versus true free will. Like, we don't really realize how many of us are running around predetermined to do stuff. We think we all have choices. We think that free will is on a moment to moment, but no, like if you have stuff operating in the background of your, mental programming, and you're making choices consciously, but you have no idea what's going on in the subconscious, well, you're kind of predetermined because that program's going to make the decision for you. It's only when you get back there into the subconscious, which is why this card is so beautiful, because it brings stuff to the surface. So you can be like, oh, I didn't realize that was a pattern I had. I didn't realize that I was still trying to get over this. I didn't realize that, this was because my parents or my childhood or whatever. I didn't realize I was making decisions based on that. Okay, well, so I can stop doing that, and now I can make a real decision. So that's kind of what the Four of Cups is really about. And the Chariot also demands faith. A lot of faith. You need to have faith in the quote-unquote higher power, whether it's your own higher self, or whether it is the universe, God, the creator, source, spirit itself. Okay? So the takeaway here for people that aren't going to move forward with the comprehensive is to just chill out. And if you're faced with like a really difficult thing, a really difficult emotional thing, you can just sit in it. You don't have to power through. There are lessons to be learned in it. And goals and ambitions and stuff, while the worldly narrative is how great that is, really ask yourself why you want that stuff. And is it really worth it? This is a month of reconsideration. This is a month of really thinking about what's important to you. And the truth is that most of you are going to scale it back to a very small number of things. Very, very small number of things. And clarity is 100% in the cards for you here. Okay, so let's pull the clarifiers. So let's stop. Okay, well, I wasn't really clarifying anything, but I had my eye on the Devil card. So some of you may be dealing with an air sign. Clearly, there's a card of Libra, card of Aquarius, 2 cards of Aquarius. Also, Gemini could be in there too. See what else for the Devil. I think that's top one. Yes, okay. Let's look at the Seven of Cups. Peace. What did I say? A card of peace. Chariot reversed. So critical for you to have faith. Yeah, because the Seven of Cups creates so much disturbance in our lives. We'll talk about it. It creates so much anxiety, disruption. It's intense. Number 7 is associated with the fixed sign of the element. So the 7 of water is Scorpio. Scorpio, it's intense. Page of Swords. Beautiful. That's what we're wanting. That's what we're looking for. The purest heart. Beautiful. Home and family 100% coming out full force. Connecting with the people that you love. High Priestess. Seven and 10 repeated. Magician. Okay, Page of Coins. It's a very strange dynamic of like things just not really fully formulating. I was looking at the Queen of Swords there. I have a feeling for a lot of it, you're going to be operating with only a little bit of information, a lot of the month. If there's a decision or something, you only have a little bit of what you really need, which is why you're needing to like not be rash, not make any major decisions, you know. Beautiful. Ace of Swords and Judgment. Love, love, love. Can't wait to talk about it. Be careful of who you share your stories with. Be careful of who you talk to. I don't want you to talk your, there's a social circle thing happening here with the Three of Cups that came out earlier. So I wouldn't just be telling your stuff to everybody. Don't get outside opinions. Let's look at the chair. I know I'm pulling out for like every single card. I know, sorry. Six of Swords. Okay. I know a lot of stuff coming out, but we'll talk about it all. So, story continues. If you want to join, we'll delve into it. Normally in the comprehensives, we talk for another 20 to 25 minutes approximately. So yeah, that's it. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you again for your patience. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.